you want to be attracting the right people by actually putting who you are out there, knowing like what actually resonates with you, not what you think is going to resonate with other people, because then you're just going to be attracting the wrong people. And I've been there and it's not fun. Even with the content creation and marketing and social media and the real estate entry, I think too much emphasis is placed on influence versus impact. It used to be like a wounded thing where I was like, I never got heard or seen, or my feelings weren't important, all that kind of stuff. And I've kind of shifted it to like, I am able to provide that space for somebody else.
Welcome to All I Do, the space where real stories, mindset, and strategy come together to move people forward. I'm Bridget, and today's guest is a real estate professional, content creator, and community builder who leads with clarity, conviction, and compassion. Known for serving the military families with heart and hustle, he's helped clients from across the globe to find more than just a home. He's helped them find security, stability, and trust in the process. With over $1.3 million returned to service members, his mission is personal, and his brand is rooted in service over sales. He's authentic, resilient, and someone who proves that business can be both strategic and deeply human. This is Tristan Hall.
You're gonna have me crying already. I'm like, dang.
That's what I love
like the
about
nicest
you.
thing.
You're just so like human and just so authentic. I just love it. I mean, it shows in everything that you do.
Thank you.
For sure. For sure. So I don't think I ever heard the story of how you got into real estate, like how you started from college. So tell me about that.
I mean, it kind of started when I was a kid. So I grew up in her Century 21 office, my mom.
Yeah, who's her? Because we can't see her.
Mom dearest. We love Karen. But I grew up in that kind of environment because my dad was military, so he was overseas. We kind of grew up with like my mom, my grandparents, and so I got to see the behind the scenes of the balloons going on, open house riders and all that kind of stuff. Growing up, I was not team real estate. I was like, that was not my passion. That was not my desire.
Right.
And then 2012, they opened their first brokerage, and my little summer job was working the front desk and
answering phones or
no, just we had a brick and mortar on Alfred Street in Old Town. It was actually like people coming in off the street. So imagine little 12-year-old Tristan going, "Hi, like you want to buy a house?" On like playing Minecraft after that. Growing up, teenager, I like had 5 different jobs. I was just overachiever. Always had to have like my hand in something. So I was like managing the pool. I was coaching. I was doing all sorts of crazy things. I go off to college. I get my license after my freshman year. And so I'm doing all the admin stuff like behind the scenes. So I'm writing offers and I'm doing all that. Everything but showing the houses.
Right.
And I was even doing property management at one point too.
Okay.
And then I went to school for psychology. And so my thing was just I wanted to help people. And so it was a lot of I don't want people to feel the same way I felt or like any of those kind of things. And then the military connection, I actually wanted to go into working with families. So like transitioning out of the military. And so we always like focus on the service members, which there's not enough focus on the service members, but actually the families itself. It's a weird dynamic change as far as the service member coming back and how it impacts the family as a unit, not just the service member. And so I wanted to help that kind of transitional period. But I did not have grad school in me.
Okay.
I did like honors program,
that's what was necessary.
undergrad. Yeah.
Okay.
I did like my senior thesis and all that, and I was like, I'm toast. So I came back home. I still had my license, was still doing work, and then I kind of just helped with like extra clients here and there. Started like dipping my toes in the water, and then a year goes by, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna give this a shot. And so full speed ahead. We opened Foxtrot and started working with just military, and then the rest is history.
So what, like 2022, 2021? Did you?
Yeah, so I got my license 2019.
Okay.
And then I graduated December of 22.
Okay. And then full on sales. Okay. So how would you describe those first couple years of the sales?
Very rocky. Not necessarily because of generating business or any of that kind of stuff, just expectations, I think. And it was also a really, really hard market.
Yes.
And so I genuinely felt bad for these people.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job. I didn't feel like I was...
Hard for the client.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
I mean, hard for us to represent them well, too, as far as their best interests. And you really shouldn't be waiving this home inspection, but you need shelter. It's different with military families when they're like, okay, I need somewhere for my household goods to go. I have to have an address to register my kids for school.
And we need it with this time frame.
Yeah, it's like we have 3 weeks and we should have closed yesterday. So I didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job. It was a hard time. And I got into it because I wanted to help people. And so it was a lot of battling, like, am I really helping people? Like, and then just also the stigma around real estate. Like I had the hardest time even calling myself a realtor. People be like, what do you do? And I'm like, We help military families. We give money back. There's a nonprofit. Like when they buy or move or sell, I just didn't like, it is such a sales and like just icky and just a bad connotation around it. And I didn't want to be that. But it was hard for me to figure out how to break out of that, I guess.
Okay. So did you?
Yeah. I think this year was when I started going, no, I'm a realtor. I do real estate.
So what changed?
I think it was I actually started letting people see me, not just me as a realtor. A lot of it was letting them into my world and people knowing why I did it or what makes me a human. I feel like when realtors get seen as transactional, it's because they are just so transactional. Like they don't invest in people. They don't see people for who they are or what they need or what their struggles are. They're just like, okay, this house, you're going to ride on it. Like, it's not okay, you really want this house because the kids and like that Japan family with the coffee, it was the first time the kids had ever had a backyard.
Oh, wow.
And so them coming here, like we were all like tears.
I think you posted about that.
Yeah.
I remember.
That one I was a hot mess for that one. Just because they're so grateful and like you feel like you did good.
Yeah. You couldn't wait to see their big backyard or something like that. I remember that.
And it was like the first time they had a play set. So they're coming from Japan. They're like little shoebox. And it always sucks when people are moving from here and they're on like 5 acres and they're going to Germany and they're like, okay, fit everything into like a little trunk. Like, but it's just those little things that people don't realize matter just because they're not involved in it.
Right. Exactly. So you're helping to build a brand with Foxtrot. So tell us how that started. What was the motivation behind Foxtrot Company?
I think just letting military families know that somebody understood them. It's crazy how many times, even on the other side of a transaction where we're having to explain things like BAH and LES and all these things to agents, and they're just like, they're not qualified. And I'm like, they literally have stable income. Like amidst all this change right now with jobs and everything, they're the one people who have a job. They have money to go towards housing. But I feel like just because they're not understood, people don't really give them a fair shot.
I see.
And it's just different for them. They just need a house. It's not that they really, really want this one because it's the perfect house and they can see their kids growing up. It's like, what's the best return on investment? What's the best school district for them? All that kind of stuff.
Right. So what's the significance of Foxtrot, the name?
So Foxtrot Company is actually they have different battalions. And so it's like Alpha, Romeo, Charlie, Foxtrot is F.
Okay.
And like the alphabet.
Oh, how cool.
But it's also the company that my dad was a part of in college.
Oh.
So I went to a military college and then my parents met at a military college.
Oh, okay. I love that symbolism. Very cool. And the color scheme. I love the signs and also like the logo. Tell me how that all developed into just a brand. Like, what was the concept?
So I think you see Keller Williams is very, very red. You see Samson and Remax, they're all very red, white, and blue, or I mean Compass is blue too. Like it's nothing that stands out, I guess. Like even our signposts are wooden, like these 8-foot wooden signposts. So I think part of it was just, again, visibility. And then even like the garrison colors and all the things, like we base like the texts are all based off of like Army fonts and those kind of things.
How cool is that?
So a lot of things that are woven into it that I think makes military families feel seen and understood is because they're like, they see it and they're like, no, I know what that is. Or like a Ranger symbol or like different things in our marketing. Their logos they know, or a civilian's just like, why is that color? Or like, what is that shape? I don't know what that is. But they're like, nope, I know that.
Wow. I love that. So Karen has always said that you're a marketing company that does real estate.
Yes.
Explain that.
I started with at-home real estate. We had a whole design studio. It was a lot more than just selling and buying homes. We do like full-fledged magazines and like the words, like the biggest thing they drilled into us growing up, Karen, is words have meaning. And you see now, like we've evolved in this whole AI world of ChatGPT and all that. Listing remarks drive me insane.
Yeah.
Like they drive me insane.
Do you do the listing remarks?
No, so she does most of them.
Okay.
I've luckily learned from them. So like all my copy and everything on Instagram and all of that is heavily influenced by getting to grow up around her writing like that. She's just good at it. I don't know where she gets it from. She wasn't an English major. I don't know. They're just words have meaning. And so I think a lot of that is marketing. It's not necessarily how you want to be seen. It's how people are seeing you too. And so that plays a big part, even just image and how things look. And we're really picky about standards and all that.
So how would you encourage agents to balance being part of a team brand, but also building their own voice and presence?
So I think the team brand is meant to give you like legs to stand on. Like you think like a stool or a chair or something, those are like the legs supporting you, but you're still the one on top of it, if that makes sense. So it has something to like back you up. Like all of our agents now, they have 20 years of experience in the military backing them up, and they have all of our knowledge and our expertise and all that, but they're still able to lean into heavy. Like one of our agents, she's a military spouse on JBAB, and she's really into like strongman competitions. And so she leans super heavy into that, and she's building her own personal brand, but she still has the team brand to help push her forward, like give her like some credibility credibility, I guess. But that's not, the team brand isn't what helps you connect with people. So like we talk a lot about like pillars. And so coffee, obviously, everybody knows me for coffee. It's where do I go for coffee? Like, where'd you get coffee now? Like all that kind of stuff. So coffee's a big one for me.
And food.
Food, yeah. Food, yeah.
And photography.
Yeah, that's the thing is like you should have multiple things. You're like at least 3 to 5 things that you're just known for. Like people like raccoons is another one. Like I don't know why.
For you?
Yeah, I loved them in college. I think it was because I was like nocturnal and I just thought they were cute. I don't know why.
Yeah.
My brother liked otters and so
They're
I had
vicious,
to be different.
though, aren't they? And otters are kind of have a vicious quality to. Well, I guess all
it's like
wild
a cute
animals.
but cuddly. You know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You gotta have the balance.
You're right.
And so like people will send me like artwork with like that in it, or people will send me coffee shops. It makes people think about you're like the top of their mind. But it's the most has nothing to do with you.
Right.
So I think that's where the personal brand comes in, but you need to have something to stand on. So whether that's your team is really, really good at listings, or your team is really, really good at military or divorce or whatever that basis is. And then you need to build up your own brand so you actually have ways to connect with people.
Right. So walk me through how you build up your own brand. Like you mentioned the pillars. If somebody does love coffee, for example, like how do you bring that into business? Like how does that all work?
So the easiest way is having one personal and one professional like post, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You can take that however you want, like quite literally as far as I should be posting that many things a day, or having 2 kind of buckets you like fall into. There is a way we can blend them together where you're at a coffee shop or you're on MLS and you take a picture of the 2 together, or it could just be that one day you're posting coffee shops, the next day you're posting real estate. And so they kind of play together. It definitely is a delicate balance because you don't want to be too much real estate, too much coffee. A lot of it comes from just knowing who you are, though. I think it's not just, okay, well, today I like this or today I like this. It's knowing like what actually resonates with you, not what you think is going to resonate with other people, because then you're just gonna be attracting the wrong people. And I've been there and it's not fun. You're working with people you don't want to work with. You'd rather just from the get-go. It might take some time. I mean, it does take some time, but you want to be attracting the right people by actually putting who you are out there.
Yeah, who you are.
A loaded question.
Yes. How do we figure that out?
I think for a lot of people, it's a gut feeling that we ignore. And I did for the longest time. I'm a fixer. And I want to make everything better. And like people pleasing was a really, really big issue for me. Not issue, but something I had to work on, just making sure I was doing it from the right place, not from a place of I need validation or any of that kind of stuff, but actually wanting to help for the right reasons. And so a lot of it was, do I want to do this and I'm saying yes to it because I want to do it, or am I saying yes to it because I feel like an obligation or a pull to somebody else? That's just kind of soul sucking. So saying yes when you really want to say yes and saying no when you really want to say no. But that's harder than people think.
It's so
especially
hard.
Like when you're out of tune with your body, especially in this area, like Northern Virginia is such, everybody compares it to like a rat race. It's just grind. Everybody's like pass and go and living for the weekends and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard to be in tune with your gut and be in tune with what you want and who you are, I guess.
What was the turning point for you? Could you say it, it was a challenge?
I'd like to say I had like my midlife crisis at 24.
Okay.
I realized just the way I had grown up and certain like health things and family things and the military dynamic and all that was, I had taken on this kind of savior role where I'd ignored my own needs and put everybody else's first. It wasn't necessarily for people pleasing, but it just felt safer that way. It was like almost a control thing. In that process, I had made myself like as small as humanly possible. And so the little dimmer on the switch was all the way down. So it's been a slow process of kind of like cranking it up and being like, no, this is safe to do. I think a lot of it was just going, I'm not happy, and going, I have to choose to be happy. It's a fine line between minimizing your feelings and like a victim mindset. It's tricky, but slowing down is just the best way. It wasn't until I took like a tactical pause, I was able to just hear my own thoughts and like get in tune with my body and be like, what's going on?
I feel like people are aware that something needs to change, but they're not exactly in tune with their body, like you said. So what are ways that we can take that step back, that tactical pause? Like what are some options when we know that something needs to change?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was, there's a park near our house. And so for me, it was just get outside, either music or a book was like my happy place. And it was just, what is something I can do for myself? What is something that like is detached from outcomes, expectations, from what anybody else wants? What is something I can just do just for me, like just to make me happy? And a lot of that was even just just like all the fitness stuff was, what is something I can do for myself? Or like, what is something that I can prove to myself that I have the strength to be like uncomfortable? Or like the best book ever that I like recently was The Courage to Be Disliked. Such a good book. And it like touches on so many things that you would not think correlate.
Right.
But a lot of things do boil down to courage and like
Yes.
choices. You can be uncomfortable, like choose your hard, I guess is the best way to say it. You can be uncomfortable doing one thing, or you can be uncomfortable doing another thing. You can be uncomfortable stuck, or you can be uncomfortable trying something new. And a lot of that was just putting myself in really, really uncomfortable places. And I kind of like turned into a game at one point. I was like, this is kind of fun. And like putting myself in environments where I'd meet new people or doing all sorts of like crazy like wellness groups and that kind of stuff. And then like the marathon or traveling alone or any of that was just kind of reinforced that I can do hard things. And that kind of built up until I was able to go, no, I can say no to that. Or no, I know that this feels right. Or once you do enough things, you kind of you get a better sense of, even if you know something's off, you can tell like, no, this is right.
So how old are you now?
I turned 25 today.
Right. So you had a lot of growth in a condensed period of time.
Yeah.
That's
the joke growing up
amazing.
was that I was 13 going on 30. And so I had like gray hair at 17. So, but I think the last 2 years were probably the most pivotal after college. College was funky. It was like the first time I didn't have any like outside stimulus and you have to like figure things out. We always say college isn't necessarily for the degree. It's like a 4-year degree on life. There's like so much you learn about yourself and other people and how you interact with people. There's so many like relationships I went through that I had to go through. And like even now there's just, you learn so many things. I love being alone. I love my alone time, but I've learned more from being around other people.
I would agree with that because, you know, communication, experiences, that is more than just yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say to people who just graduated that are still just kind of trying to figure out what's next?
I think do as many things as possible. I think that was the best advice I'd ever gotten. I felt weird because I don't really fit into a box. Like I have my toe in like so many different things, like, but it's just because those things brought me joy. It wasn't necessarily that I had to have one thing. Like real estate is a vehicle for me to do what I love and how like I can impact people, but it's not, I would not claim that as my identity. And I think it's very, very typical these days to feel like you have to have an identity where it's like, no, I am a finance person or I'm a realtor or I'm a this. There's so many more things that make you and make up. Like there's so many amazing qualities you could choose from. It's so limiting and like hard on yourself to just put yourself in that box. You can try out music, you can try out this, you can try out this. Obviously there's financial constraints and within reason, but I think it's better to lean more into who I am. Like, am I caring? Am I like compassionate? Am I strong? Am I like any of those things, and seeing how they show up in different fields versus just, okay, well, I got my degree in this, so I'm gonna go do this now. Like the psychology degree, I use that every day, but it's not clinical at all. That is the best. That is the best thing. I got like business too, but like it doesn't, I don't know. Some of the best career professionals I have met have nothing to do with what they originally started with. There's so many different twists and turns, and you can't predict where you're going to go. And like I don't know why you would want to. That's no fun.
Right. Agreed. So how were you able to build a business that aligned with who you were instead of, you know, getting caught up in the rat race, what all the other agents were doing? Like this is such a influential industry, I think. So how were you able to just be yourself in that?
So it was hard. Even with the content creation and marketing and social media and the real estate entry, like I think too much emphasis is placed on influence versus impact. And so how people are being like seen and heard and understood, I mean, it all ties together, like the real estate stuff and all that for me. It's just like the underlying message. That's why I said like real estate's just a vehicle. But a lot of it was telling myself and convincing myself because nobody my age understood it.
Right.
I never was really into the partying. I was never really into going out, and everybody else was just 9 to 5s, and they didn't understand why I was talking to a family in Japan at 2 a.m. because it's different time zone. And even like just doing the hard things, it's people don't want to be uncomfortable, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different. And so when you're different, you kind of feel like you're wrong.
Yes.
And so it takes a lot of, again, just courage.
What legacy do you feel like you're building?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I think a lot of it is I feel very, very strongly that I was put on this earth, whether it's creator, God, whatever, the universe, just to leave people better than I found them. I have a really, really, really big heart, and I thought that was a weakness for the longest time. And it's easy, I think, for people with big hearts. So if anybody's listening, when you get hurt, it's easy to just like close off and shelter and all that kind of stuff. But it takes vulnerability, which is something I'm working on to, I don't know, I guess make this world a better place.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is through impacting others. And now I'm realizing that it means me showing up so that other people can see that as well. It's a lot easier to show than tell.
I agree. So I think you do a great job about showing that, because I love to see the world through your eyes, like your photography, the words, vulnerability, and in the way that you're just able to reflect on things, and even like the song selection. Like it's...
You see the Cheetah Girls one today?
I didn't. I needed to have like a clear mind today. No social media. But like it always makes me feel something. And that also means that a deep connection is also important to you.
Yeah.
So where does that come from?
I don't know. That's always been how I just connect with people. The friend I went to Australia with, she was tired of me by the end of the trip. Because like the way
The Sydney trip, the marathon?
Yeah.
And, okay.
So I went with my friends. Her name was Christina. At the beginning of the year, she was like, we're going to Australia. And I was like, we're what? And she's like, we're running a marathon. I was like, I don't run. I was like, I don't know what you're on. But we did it. But we like ended up popping around and exploring. Because if you're taking that long of a flight, you better stay there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so by the end of it, she's like, Tristan, I can't do any more deep talks. She's like, I love you. I was like, I love you too.
I don't have any more tears left.
I feel like we don't do that enough. I feel like it is a lot of the surface level and just kind of like, hey, like there's no deep bonds or like community, those kind of things. I love that it's becoming more prominent now. So I've seen like a huge shift in like Arlington and like cities like that, to where there's now like social groups and like wellness groups and people are coming together. So my friend had one the other day on Sunday, and I got invited to do photography and stuff. And it was so cool seeing like all these girls. It was like a girls tennis thing, and all of them were coming together, and they were just like, no, I just wanted to like meet new people, and like these people are like talking to people and like making new friends. And it was so cool to see, because I feel like it's a lost art.
Yes.
You don't see like kids playing outside anymore or anything like that.
Right.
And so I think it's super important to me to kind of keep that alive. And that's just how I feel. I think a lot of it also comes from, it used to be like a wounded thing where I was like, I never got hurt or seen, or I like my feelings weren't important, all that kind of stuff. And I've kind of shifted it to like, I am able to like provide that space for somebody else.
So how can we break through that, and come closer west and develop that community and those spaces? And you notice a change closer to the city, but like, how do we expand? And I don't know. It's
a weird age we live in as far as like the digital age. I think there are ways to even like, some of the people I connect with the most aren't even local. And like you were saying, like you feel something and all that kind of stuff. I think social media is both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
There's some not great things around social media as far as just like mental health and all that. But I think there is a good side where, again, you can impact people rather than influence, where there's a lot of like mental health stuff, or there's like mindset stuff, or people you can look up to rather than like idolize and wish you were like, and all that kind of stuff. So I think there are ways to reach more people, but a lot of it comes down to people wanting that, I guess, wanting like something different.
So how would you encourage somebody that is young and is trying to break through, find themselves, have more connection? Like, what would you say to encourage them to just move forward with that vision?
So I think a lot of it is, at least me, I felt bad when I like shifted friend groups kind of, because coming out of college, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, these are the people I'm supposed to hang out with. These are the things we're supposed to do. This is what young adults do. I just felt wrong the whole time.
Or this is what I've always done.
Or if that's all you know, and you're just like, well, like, this doesn't feel right, or like, I think I want to change. A lot of it is met with judgment, I think. And so that's pretty hard. And so I don't want to say not worrying about what other people think, but not worrying about what other people think.
Yeah, bottom line.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in this let them era.
Yeah. Shout out Mel Robbins.
Yeah. I mean, I also struggle with that though, because, I went through something, this summer, and I was like, but let them? That go when it goes against something as far that's so deep in your core, whether it's something, for me it was just the injustice of it. Let them.
So I think that's why you and I get along, because I have a very, very high, I'm not going to curse, intolerance, we'll say, for, I think, the treatment of others, or like, I have very, very strong ideals of how people should be treated and not how people should act, but just decency, I guess. And so I feel very, very strongly about like the way people are treated, or talking badly about other people, or judging other people. Like, everybody's going at their own pace. Everybody's got their own movie going on. Like, you don't know what's going on in their lives. So I think that's another thing too, as far as even the shifting friend groups or breaking away or any of that kind of stuff, is just like, it's not about you. It's not about them. Like, everybody's doing their own thing.
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, you have one life. You got to live it. You got to be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's so much like on the other side.
Yes.
Like, there's so much you don't know. There's so many people you don't know. I could have never guessed like half the people I would meet, half the experience I would have got. Like, the last year was crazy. If I had not gone to this one event, I would not have met somebody who took me to Costa Rica, and like we were like surfing, and like that wasn't on my plan. Like, that was not on the agenda.
What was the event?
It was a wellness event.
Okay.
In Arlington. I met one person who introduced me to another person who introduced me to now the person I'm dating. I don't even talk to this one person anymore, but like it just evolves and you have no idea where it's gonna go.
Right.
And a lot of that is letting go of what's the end goal. Like, you come out of college and you're like, I have a plan. I have to have a plan. Everybody has a plan.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen, which is hard. Trust is a hard thing. Trust in the unknown is a very, very hard thing. It's scary. There's a lot of anxiety around it. Just trust everything's gonna but I think a lot of that is also tied into like trusting yourself. That's why I think earlier when I was talking about all the qualities, as far as like knowing that you're trustworthy, you're knowing that you're creative, knowing you're like smart, like any of those kind of things. If you have trust in those things, you're able to trust that everything's gonna unfold the right way. Versus if you're trusting in like a graphic design degree and you're like, I had this one job. Where did the job go? I don't know.
The tangible.
Yeah. But so I think all of it kind of ties together.
Yep, sure does. That wellness.
It was the strangest thing. I never in my life thought I'd be doing an ice bath. This is when I didn't run either. And I was like, it was 5:30 in the morning. We're showing up for yoga and ice baths and running and connection. And I'm like, I don't talk to people.
But what made you go there?
It was just like, it was a pull. It was just, I knew something had to change. And I was like, is it going to work or it's not going to work? Like, what do I have to lose? You get to a certain point, I think too, where you're like, I'm not happy. What do I have to lose? Like, and then not being afraid to like, look silly and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm still working on that because I worry a lot about like, am I being too much, or like, am I being enough, or am I saying the right thing, or any of that kind of stuff. There was a reason for a while I wasn't even in my pictures, or I wasn't, you would not find me on my grid. I was hiding behind the camera, and I liked it that way. So I'm trying to be better about that now, but a lot of it is just being uncomfortable and knowing like there's more.
How are you working through it?
Exposure therapy, having a really good support system too, finding new people who push me the right way. And sometimes you need a push. Sometimes it doesn't feel good, but sometimes you need a push. And you're like, kind of in the moment, you're like, that was not cool. Hey. But then after the fact, you're like, no, I'm really glad you said that, or you did that, or I needed that. So I think it's a fine balance, but environment has a lot to do with it. People you surround yourself has a lot to do with it.
So true. So, I mean, do you kind of put goals on yourself as far as like working towards that exposure level of?
Yeah, I could definitely be better about setting like benchmarks, I think. I've had a lot of things recently where I'm trying to find balance. The first step for me was what is actually yes and what is actually a no. And like, what am I doing because somebody else is telling me I should be doing? What am I doing because I think that's the right next step, but it doesn't feel right? And so like even showing up on video and those kind of things, I'm like, is this the right thing? Is this not the right thing?
Right.
And doing it for the right reasons too.
Yep.
So I think that was a big thing for me, but I could definitely be better about setting benchmarks. I think goals are very, very important, but I think the goals need to be flexible to a certain degree.
You probably have goals in other areas of your life.
Yeah, so I think that's important. I think too often people hone in on like one goal, and there's so many different pillars of your life to like, as far as like personal happiness, relationships, like family, friends, career, health, like wealth, like there's, and if one of them is even out of whack, then like the other ones are going to feel a little weird. Right. The chair analogy again, like if you have one little leg is loose, you're gone.
You feel it.
Yeah, so you could have everything else is a 9 out of 10, but you have one thing that's a 2 out of 10, you're whoop.
Yes, the weakest link. It's always there. So if your younger self could see you now, what would he say?
I think he'd be a little shocked, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I never thought that I would be here. And I think that's what makes it so cool is growing up, I had a bunch of health problems. And so there was a point where I did not see a future for myself. I was just always the sick kid. I was in and out of hospitals. There was one point where they're like, we don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, okay, well, this is it. And so I never thought I was going to make it to college. I never know I was going to make it out of college. And now we're like, I'm running marathons and all that kind of stuff. So little Tristan had no idea what was coming for him. Little Tristan was also definitely just scared and all those kind of things. So I think he'd be really, really proud now.
He should be proud.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's pretty cool now.
Tristan is very cool. Which is why you're here. I mean, I had told Karen that, I had this whiteboard. As soon as I knew I wanted to start a podcast, I had like 15 people that wrote down, and we're just going right through.
Oh.
Like you were totally there.
Thank you.
100%. 100%.
No, I'm honored to be here.
Last question. If someone wanted to understand who you are through a single dish or a restaurant, where are we going And what are we ordering?
Oh, that is so hard. I think the first thing that comes to mind is the calamari from Mike's American.
Okay.
I don't know why. That was
Okay.
like my comfort thing. Anytime we had a celebration, we went there. It just like, if I ever need a pick-me-up or like a little sense of nostalgia, it is that. I don't know why.
Okay. So that tells me comfort.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that is a pretty good way to describe me, understand me. I feel like I've gotten that a lot recently where it's like everything just feels like cozy or like comforting or I
And
feel
you
like,
want that for others. You
yeah.
want to bring that to
Yeah.
others. So
I feel like everybody needs a little sense of peace in their life.
man, you're not kidding. You are
Whether
not
like
kidding.
high rocks and marathons and all that correlate with peace, I don't know. We'll figure that out later, but
Maybe the after.
yeah.
You know, it's
it's the rest day.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I appreciate you making it on your birthday of all days.
That's the best way I could have spent it.
I love that you wanted to spend it with me.
Yeah. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes, on your podcast.
We got to figure that one out.
Yeah, well, we said it.
Yep.
So
it's out there now.
It's coming. It's coming. Stay tuned. Tristan Hall. We'll think of a nice title and tagline for you.
Something cozy.
There we go. That's it. That's all it needs to be.
Yep.
I love that. Oh, thank you. Anything else maybe we should touch on before?
I don't think so. Okay. Just don't be afraid to be you.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in a box. There's so much out there.
So much. The world.
Yeah. The world is your backyard. But only if you put on your shoes and you start walking.
That's true. You got to put some effort into it.
Yeah.
Got to want it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was so good.
I'm sweating. I am soaking wet.